Hi, I'm Larry Remming. I'm the treasurer for Journey Writers, Inc., a Connecticut-based writers group that was founded in 2013. We meet twice a month to share our writing and offer constructive feedback to each other. We offer a safe and supportive space for writers and aspiring writers from all walks of life. In addition to our workshops, we perform our original works several times a year. As you can imagine, when COVID-19 hit, we went from in-person performances to online performances. We are pleased to offer some of our original works celebrating the strengths and triumphs of the LGBTQ+ community in conjunction with Hartford's Pride Month. Tonight's dramatic reading looks at those details in our lives that we choose to share, and those we may choose not to share. Discover the inner despair, resilience, and loves of Kathy after she's gone. Now let's meet our cast. Kathy's funeral has just ended as we look in on her mom, Carol Sanders, and Kathy's beloved aunt, Jessie, in the living room of Kathy's childhood home. Soon to arrive are Carol's husband, the Reverend Paul Sanders, and an unexpected visitor. Journey Writers presents Kathy's Secret, music and script by Mel Thomas.
I thought more of his friends would be at the funeral.
Well, remember, Aunt Jessie, George moved to Atlanta over 15 years ago.
He didn't move to Atlanta. He just went there to go to college.
But he didn't come back after graduating. He was offered a job and chose to stay there.
Well, I tell you, it's not like it used to be. Back in my day, you lived at home until you got married. My best friend Gwen, she never did get married. She lived with her mother and father until he couldn't take it anymore. He moved out. Left the house to she and her mother and moved in with his friend Joey the Butcher. Although the truth be known, I always thought that he and Joey had a little thing for each other, if you know what I mean. I think Joey was slipping him a little extra meat if you catch my drift. I'm serious, baby. Oh, where's Paul?
I already told you he went to the airport to take his brother.
Oh, that's right. Now I remember. I swear I forget my head if it wasn't screwed onto my neck. How's that saying go? Of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most.
Who could this be? Yes?
I hope I got the right address. Is this where they're having the repast for Kathy Sanders?
And you are?
I'm Clayton Maxwell, Kathy's fiance.
Oh, Clayton. I thought I recognized your voice. Come on in, baby. I was wondering where you were. Carol, this is George's friend I told you about. Clayton, this is George's mother, Mrs. Sanders.
Nice to meet you, Mrs. Sanders. Although this isn't the best of circumstances, I finally get to meet the two of you. Kathy's told me so much about the two of you.
Would you like something to eat? There's plenty of food here.
Make Mr. Maxwell comfortable. I'll fix him a plate. Is there anything in particular you like? We got just about anything you could possibly want. We got ham, we got lasagna, we got ziti, vegetable casserole, and all kinds of chicken, fried, baked, broiled.
I'm not fussy. Anything will be fine. I'd really like a cup of coffee if it's no trouble.
No problem, baby. Cream of sugar?
A black with 2 Splendas if you have any.
No problem.
Please have a seat. This isn't easy, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't refer to George as Kathy when the Reverend gets back. He's never been able to accept George's transition.
Really?
Yes, really. And to be perfectly honest with you, as much as I've tried, I never could really understand.
Did you say you want 2 sugars or 2 creams?
2 Splendors, no cream.
Oh, okay. That's right. Now I remember, baby.
As I was saying, George's passing has been extremely difficult for the Reverend. Well, for all of us. But he's petrified of anyone, especially members of his church, ever finding out about George's transition. He insisted that the casket remain closed.
Really? I can't imagine Aunt Jessie was happy with that decision.
Well, no, she wasn't, and neither was I for that matter. But no one outside of Aunt Jessie, Paul, and myself knew anything about Kathy. They've only known George. You see, Paul is basically a good man. But as soon as he comes face to face with something he doesn't understand, he starts quoting the Bible. And to be perfectly honest with you, sometimes I think he makes up half of it.
Here you go. Here's your tea and 2 sugars, Mr. Maxwell.
Coffee, Aunt Jessie. He said coffee, not tea, and 2 Splendors. Needless to say, Aunt Jessie's memory isn't what it used to be. Aunt Jessie, why don't you sit here with Clayton, and I'll get him a cup of coffee and fix him something to eat.
Are you sure you don't mind, honey?
Positive. Aunt Jessie said, we've got plenty of food here.
Thank you. Anything will be fine. I'm not fussy.
I'll have some more chicken as well.
No problem.
I need a little something to calm my nerves. Paul don't approve of me drinking, but Carol's cool with it. But as much as I love my nephew, but he is much funner as a hot pot on an elevator. Stand up and turn around. Let me take a look at you. I see one reason why you were so special to little Georgie. I mean, Kathy. She didn't tell me you was a piece of eye candy. Just look at you, baby.
Thank you.
Here you go, Clayton. I got a few things warming up. Should be ready very shortly.
Thank you very much. I haven't had anything since late last night.
No problem.
I assumed that you weren't coming. Well, I didn't see you at the funeral. Was there a problem with your flight?
No. My flight was actually ahead of schedule. The problem was getting transportation from the airport to the church. And by the time I'd gotten to the church, the funeral had ended over an hour ago. Luckily, someone knew where the repast was and gave me the address. Then I had to wait for a cab, but here I am.
Well, honey, I'm glad you were able to come. George, I mean Kathy. I get so confused. You can't even mention the name Kathy around here. Carol break down and start crying. Paul will have a hissy fit. But as I was saying, you're very special to George. I apologize. I get so confused. I mean, Kathy.
Well, I can understand your confusion, Aunt Jessie. She was very special to me too.
I never did get to see Kathy. No photos, no nothing. I guess that's why it's so hard for me to call him anything but George. Even though I really didn't understand the transition thing, I still loved him. We loved him. Paul wasn't never able to accept George, but as a result, they were pretty much avoided each other. But no one's telling me what happened. What happened to Kathy?
What do you mean?
No one's telling me anything. Clayton, did she die of AIDS?
What?
Oh, here you are. Need anything else?
No, baby. I'm fine.
No, thank you. This is fine. What do you mean no one told you about Kathy's passing?
Shh. Well, with all the chicken we eat around here, no wonder we haven't declared an endangered species. I was just telling Clayton how much Georgie used to love when we go to New Orleans. When Georgie was a little fella, he would love when we would go visit my brother Bubba and his wife Mavis in New Orleans. They was George's paternal grandparents, and I'm actually George's great aunt. And his father, Paul, is my nephew. But anyway, Mavis was an excellent cook, and Bubba could souffle a red brick and have you begging for more. There wasn't a pig or a chicken in the world that wouldn't give their life to be in Bubba's spot.
Paul's home.
Mama taught me and Bubba how to cook. I taught George everything he know about cooking. Hush, baby, here they come. Paul, this is George's friend, Clayton, Mr. Maxwell. Mr. Maxwell flew all the way from Atlanta.
Paul, can I get you some coffee, something to eat?
No.
Is he okay? Did I do something wrong?
No, baby, you didn't do anything wrong. That's just Paul being his crazy self. You're a friend of George's, and automatically you become a suspect.
Of what?
A suspect of encouraging George's sinful lifestyle. I'll tell you, for someone who calls himself a religious man, he sure can be a mean son of a bitch. Before Carol came in, I was asking you if Kathy had AIDS. She called me a few times and said something about AIDS, but I swear it seemed like every time she called, either I was watching my soap operas or doing something around the house. So I never did get to figure out what she was talking about. And I don't dare to ask Paul because he's liable to blow my head off.
Didn't you receive...
Hush, honey. Here they come. Don't say anything, sugar.
So, where did you meet George?
So what were you telling Clayton about?
Oh, the mall. You know the mall. Oh, he loves the mall. He really loves the mall. Right up to the day he went to school, we would go to the mall and eat at the better restaurants. You couldn't pay us to eat at one of them fast food joints. I remember for his 16th birthday, he fixed me a duck dinner with all the trimmings. And that was the night that he told me that he wanted to be a culinary chef. But his father wanted him to be a preacher. But George wanted to be a chef. Yes, it did.
Let it go, Aunt Jessie.
I'll never forget the night that he called to tell me that he had gotten a job as a chef assistant. I don't remember what the name of the restaurant, but it was well-known in Atlanta. Sometimes George would get so excited telling me all different things that I didn't know what he was talking about half the time. I didn't know. But that's when he called to tell me that he had opened up a new restaurant. And I jumped out of my bed and did my little happy dance. Yes, I did.
Would anyone like something else to eat? We got plenty of food here.
He was so proud. That was the last time I saw him. He showed me pictures that he had drawn in the kitchen layout and how he wanted the dining room to look. I swear it was so beautiful. And that was the last time I saw him. The next time I knew, a few months had passed, and I hadn't heard from him. I think he was too busy. Now, I thought I almost was worried sick, but somehow I knew that he was all right, and he would call me when he was ready. And I was right. About a year and a half later, that's when he called to tell me.
Aunt Jessie, we agreed not to talk about this.
Oh, calm down. Just calm down.
You and Carol made that agreement. I didn't agree to a damn thing.
I think you've had enough tea, Aunt Jessie.
I don't know if I had enough or not, but I do know I had enough of the lying and the covering up the shame of Kathy. Not George. Kathy.
Please, Aunt Jessie, please.
His name is
do
George.
this.
We had a son, not a daughter.
And the son Carol gave birth to was miserable as hell.
How can you say that? He was as normal as the other boys.
Yeah, you're right. He liked sports. He ran track and won several trophies. But was he really into sports? Or was it just to please you? He also had dated some of them young little girls around in high school, but did he take them to the prom because he wanted to or because he was expected to? Or was he afraid of being teased? Well, afraid that people might think that he was gay or something? What you saw was the son you thought he should be, but what you refused to see was the son that you had. He never did when I was looking at him, but I watched him try on my jewelry from time to time when he was a little fella all through school. I never seen such a joyful glow on his face when he put on my makeup.
And why are we just hearing about this now, Aunt Jessie? Why couldn't you tell us sooner? We could have helped him.
What the hell have you done? Pray the gay away? Send him off to some damn camp to get him fixed? By the way, Paul, if you hadn't heard, you and your church have a reputation for being homophobic.
I didn't write the Bible out, Jesse. I'm just a mere messenger delivering God's words.
Well, what about the other words, Paul? What about loving thy neighbor as you love thyself? What about treating others the way you want to be treated? And what about judge not lest ye be judged? What about compassion, Paul? Every Sunday you strut around with your arms spread wide, preaching on how the church welcomes all of God's children. But not once, David, not once have you ever visited anyone sick or dying of AIDS. You would always send Carol. You was always too busy.
You're right, Aunt Jessie. I never visited parishioners with AIDS, and I'm also guilty of not putting out the welcoming mat for gay people. But for what it's worth, my one and only son is dead. And contrary to what you might think, I loved him more than you or anyone else will ever know.
I don't doubt that you loved him, Paul, but your love was conditional. It was only about him being and doing what you want, not what he wanted. You loved him because he was your son. He needed you to love him for who he was, Paul. George needed your acceptance.
Well, I'm sorry, but I cannot accept nor will understand this gay thing. It's just not normal.
No one understands everything, Paul. Acceptance doesn't mean that you have to understand it. And whether you understand it or not, it doesn't mean you have to like it or approve of it. It's live and let live. It's normal anyway. Most people who's right-handed in the world, does that mean that people whose left-handed is not normal?
Did you guys receive the death certificate?
I saw it in the mail, but didn't bother to read it, what I already knew.
What? You what?
I didn't bother to read it. The last thing I need is for the members of my church to know that my son was gay and died of AIDS.
How could you? And just when were you going to tell me that our son, not just your son, but our son, even had AIDS?
What happened to little Georgie? Somebody please tell me what happened to Georgie?
What are you talking about? When was I going to tell you? You were the one that told me.
What?
You told me you talked with Aunt Jessie, and she said that she talked with George, and that he said he had AIDS.
What the hell are you talking about? I never told you George had AIDS.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Excuse me, may I just say something a little bit?
No one comes into my house uninvited and sticks his nose in my family's business.
Shut up! Just shut the hell up! The two of you, always running your mouth, totally ignoring this young man. Like Paul, like it or not, Paul, Mr. Wackler was very special to George's life. We owe Kathy and George Maxwell just as much respect as we expected for ourselves.
He still has no right to come in here.
Shut up, Paul. Aunt Jessie's right. Like I was trying to say earlier, Kathy's passing hasn't been easy for any of us. It's so hard to refer to him as Kathy when we've never seen him as Kathy. It's like without warning, he just disappeared, just vanished. No goodbyes, nothing, not a word. After months of sleepless nights, not knowing if he's dead or alive, he calls Aunt Jessie, not his mother, but Aunt Jessie, and tells her, not his mother, that he's changed his name to Kathy and is gonna have his sex changed. Is the world going crazy or what? Or is it just me? I don't understand anything anymore.
Look, man, I'm sorry. It's like Carol said, none of this has been easy. It hasn't been easy since the day he was born. As a parent, you have visions of what you want your kids to be like, and you have hopes and dreams, and then one day you realize they have their own visions. They have their own hopes and dreams, and they're not anything like yours.
I just don't know where to start. First and foremost, I guess I should start by offering my condolences to all of you. I can only assume from conversation that you and Mrs. Sanders were unaware of the burden that Kathy was holding.
Please, his name is George. George, not Kathy.
You knew her as George. I knew her as Kathy. And if you had read the death certificate, you would have known she died as Kathy. All you've ever known is George, but all I've ever known was Kathy, and Kathy was the love of my life.
And George was the love of our life. I carried him for 9 months. I nursed him, gave him his first bath, and watched him take his first step. And I drove him to Cub Scout meetings and Little League. I took him to his track meets. Next thing I know, he's off to college. Comes home for Christmas during his freshman year, and that's the last I see of him. And then we get bombarded with the news from Jesse that George has changed his name to Kathy. Who the hell is Kathy? I never seen her, never talked to her, gotten an email. Who the hell is Kathy? What happened to George?
As I've already told Aunt Jessie, I understand your anger and confusion, but the best way I can explain it is by saying that throughout most of her life, Kathy lived inside of George. She would only come out when she thought no one was looking. Kathy lived her life according to how everyone was telling her George how to live and how he should act, what he should like and how he should walk and talk, and so on. Kathy wasn't gay. She told me once that she used to think that she was, but came to realize that she wasn't. She didn't want to be with a man as a man. She wanted to be with a man as a woman, whether they had sex or not. She was transgender, which has nothing to do with sex. And contrary to what most people think, being transgender is about being born one sex, but inwardly feeling like the opposite sex. It's about identity. A male to female person may be sexually attracted to a man or a woman.
So it's like a mental illness.
No, absolutely not. Reverend Sanders, getting a sex change requires authorization from a psychiatrist or a mental health psychologist, pending where you live.
All right, okay. What happened to Kathy?
Kathy had been complaining for weeks about being tired. But as always, whenever I suggested she cut back on her hours at the restaurant, it was always the same. I don't have time, or we can't afford it. She came home early last Saturday night, which surprised me because that's always the restaurant's busiest night. We were watching a DVD she wanted to see, but she fell asleep on my lap. I woke up at some point and asked her if she wanted to go to bed. And she just looked up and smiled at me for the last time. Because of her age and the fact that she died so suddenly, an autopsy was ordered. Kathy had a genetic heart disorder, not AIDS.
Oh, did it suffer?
Although some trans people have died from AIDS complications, most of us die from health issues, wars, and car accidents like everyone else. And contrary to what you think, AIDS is not God's wrath on transgendered people, gays, injection drug users, or anyone else. As for Kathy having AIDS, I suspect Aunt Jessie may have misunderstood her. You see, a while back, Kathy was really excited about the fact that she was finally able to purchase several KitchenAid appliances for the restaurant. She used to jokingly refer to them as her little aids. So I can easily see where she may have mentioned something to Aunt Jessie about getting or having a little AIDS.
Do you think that's what might have happened, Aunt Jessie?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's all right, Aunt Jessie. We all get confused and make mistakes.
Kathy was very proud of who she was. Her main reason for not contacting you was that she was afraid of embarrassing you. She didn't want you to feel any shame for who she was.
I'm a little confused. All this stuff is new to me. I think I got the part down about being transgender has nothing to do with sex and how it's all about identity or how we feel inside, how you feel inside. But when you were talking about how they die in wars, are they allowed to join the Army or the Navy? But on the other hand, when you think about it, she's still a guy.
No, Reverend Sanders, she's a woman. She was born with male parts, but she's a woman. She is legally a woman.
Okay. I get it, I think. But when you were talking about how trans people die like everyone else, you said most of us. I don't understand. What do you mean?
I meant that we die like everyone else.
We? You mean as in you?
Yes.
But you're a guy.
Yes, I am. But I was born with a female's body.
What? You what?
You didn't know?
No, what are you
didn't-
talking about?
Sweet Jesus.
Oh my God.
What?
Didn't Kathy tell you?
No.
Okay, now that I think of it, I don't know why it surprises me that she didn't tell you. She knew I was transgender, but has never known me as anyone other than Clayton.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you telling me you were born a girl and then decided you wanted to be a guy?
Something like that. I didn't decide I wanted to be a guy. I was born a guy with a female body. I decided to change my body to look like the guy that I am.
And after you changed from being a woman, you fell in love with a woman who used to be a guy.
Right.
What the hell has gone on here? Couldn't the two of you have just stayed the way you were born? And if it was meant to be, maybe you would have met each other, fallen in love, and had a family like everyone else.
Probably not. Although I was born with female parts, I felt like a boy. I didn't want to be a girl. I wanted to be the boy I believed and felt I was meant to be. I detested
But
it.
regardless of what you felt you were meant to be, the fact remains that you were born a girl with girl parts. Doesn't that mean that maybe, just maybe, you were meant to be a girl?
No, Reverend Sanders, I was not born a girl with girl parts. I was born a guy with girl parts. I despised my body. When I began developing breasts, I almost killed myself trying to cut them off.
Oh my God.
I detested any and everything that remotely related to me being a girl. My father had no problem with me playing baseball or playing with my toy soldiers or wanting a boy's bike instead of a girl's, but my mother couldn't handle it. She insisted I wear dresses whenever we went to church or family gatherings. Now, imagine someone insisting, Reverend Sanders, that you wear a dress right now. How would you feel?
I think I understand now.
Thank God. Maybe you can explain it to me.
And me too.
Well, it's like Clayton has been saying all along, it's not about sex. It's about what's inside. It's about how one feels inside. Clayton says he was a boy born in a girl's body, and he was humiliated when forced to wear girls' clothes. I never understood George's fascination with my jewelry. Like Aunt Jessie, I'd seen him trying on my jewelry many times, but never said anything to him or anyone else. It never occurred to me that he might be gay because he was always playing with the little girls in the neighborhood. But things changed when he went to high school. Even though he had a few girlfriends and got into various sports, he seemed distant, withdrawn. Sometimes he'd go a day or two just staying alone in his room, saying very little to either of us. Now I know why. I know George confided in you, Aunt Jessie, but how do you explain something? I can only imagine how hard it must be trying to explain something to someone when you can't even explain it to yourself. That's probably why Kathy. That's probably why Kathy never went into any details about Clayton. There's no way Kathy and Clayton could have loved each other had they not made the changes they did. Remember, Clayton said he was a boy in a girl's body? George had a boy's body, but as Kathy, she wouldn't have had any interest in Clayton's girl's body. Kathy wanted a man, and Clayton wanted a woman, and that's what they found in each other.
Well, I must be thick. I still don't get it.
You're right, Paul. You're right. You are thick. Remember, It's not about what's between your legs. It's about what's on the inside. Okay, here we go again. Let's say a woman has all the parts that a woman was born with, but she feels like some man. She feels like she's walking around in the wrong body. So she makes whatever changes she can to become a man, but continues to have sex with men. The difference is this person who's born a female with parts is now having sex with a man as a man. So now what you have is a transgender person who's gay. Clayton and Kathy were transgender couples who were heterosexual. They could have been members of your church. Yes, Lord Jesus.
I could just see it.
But it saddens me to think how lonely George must have been. Kathy. It's just so hard for me to call him Kathy when the last memories of him is when us was sitting at the table, when he was beaming with joy and showing off the layouts and the designs of his new restaurant. His designs. His new restaurant. Kathy. Who is that? He didn't sound like Kathy when he talked on the phone. Who's Kathy? If she was alive right now and walked in here right now, would I recognize her?
Kathy wasn't that much different than George. She was the most creative person I've ever known and a fantastic cook. Like you were saying about Bubba, Aunt Jessie, Kathy could roast a brick and have you begging for more. She also had a good head for business. There was no such thing as pulling the wool over her eyes, and she'd let you know it if she thought that's what you were trying to do, too.
You're damn right. She got that from me. Mm-hmm.
Aunt Jessie, please, let me finish.
Hey, I'm just saying, honey. I'm just saying.
She was a sharp dresser, and I can see between the two of you how she developed her style. There wasn't anything we couldn't talk about. Although she wasn't into organized religion, Reverend Sanders, Kathy was a very spiritual person, and she lived her life putting those beliefs into practice. She was a very loving and compassionate person. She taught me how to forgive. She would tell me, forgive, but don't forget, because you don't want to make the same mistake twice. But the one thing I remember and treasure most of all is that we always laughed. There was never a day that passed like right now without us having something to laugh about. Well, I guess this is as good a time as any. I have something to show you all. These are pictures of Kathy.
Oh my God. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Carol, look.
Oh my goodness.
Paul, look at Kathy.
This is George?
No, it's Kathy. Kathy.
She's beautiful. So beautiful. So this is Kathy. This is little Kathy. Look, everybody. Look, it's Kathy. It's Kathy. Oh, Kathy, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sorry, Kathy.
To learn more about Journey Writers, our mission, our workshops, our performances, or to read some of our members' work, go to journeywriters.org. To support programs like these and all the work we do in support of writers and writing, make a tax-deductible donation to Journey Writers on our webpage. We'd like to thank our sponsors for this Hartford Pride Month series: the Hartford Pride Committee, Camora's Cultural Corner, and the Free Center. Please join us for our next show, One Hot Night. Who would have thought that the revolution against bigotry, police brutality, and anti-LGBTQ rights would have begun on that hot summer night at the Stonewall Inn? Who could have predicted the courage of the unlikely heroes, including Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, victims of intolerance themselves? Join us for One Hot Night, premiering Friday, September 24th at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us.